So first of all, we would like to express our sincere gratitude for accepting our invitation to participate in the Big C debate on artificial intelligence in architecture, which will take place as part of Big Architecture 2025 in Portorož in Slovenia this year. So in the last years, we have seen concepts of thinking agents become a reality in almost every field. These agents are entities of artificial intelligence that incorporate into the process of architectural design creation. What were once generative models working on principles like the finite constraint model that generated solutions have now become complex systems of networks with a structure resembling spider webs that can create fascinating solutions to various questions. So in the light of this introduction, we would like to invite you to share your perspective on your practice and approach to integrating AI into architectural design process. So the word is yours.
I think we can show what we've been working on in the past, like half a year or 1 year, let's say.
Yes, what I sent you. Maybe I will start with with Pál, the plugin, right? Or which one should I start?
I think as you wish.
As I wish. Okay.
Can we share the screen?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I should share my screen.
Yeah, all right. No.
You're right. Okay, so we were working on this web application recently, which you said it's like an agent that can help our work, but maybe it's a little over exaggeration. Right now it's a manual application where you can, let me start from the beginning, where you can create a site, let's say anywhere, for example here an empty site, and you can quickly draw a warehouse layout. Let me show you.
Yeah, so this is our site.
And here you can see a grid, because all of the time these buildings are arranged in a grid. And so very easy, you can just start drawing this building, and automatically it will be have a road around the building. And of course you can rotate and move this building around in the site. And after that you can add the dockers to it, so where the trucks can attach to the building basically. And here it will arrange the road around the building. And we are planning to add a lot of more feature. For example, right now we can add more buildings to one site. Yes, but it's really just in a demo phase. But the theory behind it is really similar than our previous project, the Pál, but we were facing the problem that Grasshopper is a really limited environment for users, because it's like complicated and it's a whole different software, the Rhino, and it's just a plugin, the Grasshopper, and it's another plugin inside Grasshopper, so it's always a problem or difficult to explain to anybody how to use it. But yeah, the main idea is the same, that we can automate some of the design process, and maybe because of this automation you will lose some creativity part, but on the other hand you will have much more control over the really beneficial results of your design. So you can iterate way more options, and you can analyze all of these options with daylight autonomy and energy simulations, and just simply the number of rooms and square meters and how many useful residential flat will be inside the building, and so on. And you mentioned this agent and how we think about it. I can show, by the way, this was the previous project. We have a website for it because, as I said, it's difficult to present inside Grasshopper. So what I was trying to explain that these type of agents, I'm not really seeing it as an AI, just a more complex algorithm that can help the designs. And maybe later, if we really see the machine learning part of this whole AI thing, maybe we can later automate much more this design process if a lot of users already created plans inside this PlanPal or inside this warehouse gen application, because later we can use this data to generate automatically new designs. This is the idea. I'm not sure it will work that simple, but at this point it will be more of an agent or an AI. I think that's maybe the introduction.
Yep.
And the question was really long in the beginning. I'm not sure if I answered all of it.
Yes, it was just for you to present your work and your view on the new approaches, architectural design process.
Yes, our approach is really to try to develop algorithms that can generate buildings, and later this generation will be used as an AI agent. I think this is where we are trying to do. Let me show you as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that we also use AI engines for image creation during our work. So this is not the only way. This is our way, what we were working on as a company to develop for the design phase. But of course, there are many parts in the architect's work where you can incorporate AI, from the very beginning of the concept making and generating texts or like very simple images and sketches until the end. And this is kind of the concept phase for a very systematic building where you can use a grid and a very simple algorithm, let's say, algorithm to generate something that is quite a repetitive type of building set. In case of a more um, like a public building, for example, of course, it's a different process, and there it's we feel that it's not yet the time for generating a floor plan, for example. But we also used AI for generating some ideas for facades and to test some other types of designs that we were thinking of. And it's a very quick way to test your ideas and to see some kind of an image of those buildings. But we were trying to develop, or like my colleague Pali was mostly involved with it, trying to develop a way which simplifies those types of works which architects usually don't really like. So we don't really like to invest our time in designing factories, for example, or industrial buildings. And this is a great tool for skipping the basic part of it, and then you can just go forward with the work and make it as simple as possible, I guess.
Yes, and one of the third program, what we were working here, what I think I sent you a presentation, was this Visual AI or Visual AI. So I would like to share my screen again.
I think it says your screen is sharing. Can you see the screen shared?
Yeah, you are still
okay.
Sharing.
Okay. So this one is the Visual AI. That is also a very similar approach what Yuli was explaining, because sometimes the rendering or 3D render creation is also a boring and maybe repetitive task. So And it's very important in the beginning or in the middle of a design phase to present your work, and maybe the client is happy to see some render, but obviously as an architect we would understand from a floor plan and from sketches, but it's important to visualize, and this is why this Visual IE, basically it's a mobile app, but you can see here on the web as well, is for generate a render from a simple sketch. For example, here this is a sketch. Actually, I was downloading it because I was lazy to draw. But you can simply say it's an apartment in an eye-level view. The control strength is to determine if the drawing should be really similar to the render, or maybe the AI can go for a creative
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, for example, here you can see it was creative. Not really similar, but maybe we can try another picture. Yes, this is also a downloaded image. Maybe the prompt should be modern residential building. I don't know, maybe
Concrete, yeah.
Concrete facade. I hope I get it right. Maybe not. Yes. And generate. And yes, this is very similar, in our opinion, that it speed up the boring part.
Well, it's not just boring, but time consuming.
Yes.
So image making is rather time consuming, and if you don't make it properly, then it's easy to get a bad image of your work, whereas you still spent a lot of time figuring it out. And this is a tool that helps skipping this vast amount of time that you would invest in creating images. And rather, this is like a fast forward step between the conceptual phase and the visualizing part, which can take very long, and then you are kind of exposed to the possibility that they will see it at the very end how it's going to look like, and then they say like, oh, this is not what I thought. I imagined something completely different from the sketches. So here this is like a way where you can drop in your sketch and generate many images from the same sketch. You can get like different solutions, and then you can get a bit closer to what both sides want, basically.
Yes, the communication is always difficult, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
I guess this is it. Yeah.
I have some further questions regarding this little showcase that you showed. Online example. Is this something that everyone can use? Is this now online and open for public?
Yes, it is. We haven't made any marketing it, so it's hard to find. But yes, if I link the website to you, it will work.
Perfect. Thank you. These solutions, or often multiple thereof, require a new perspective of thinking, as they can come across as uncanny, invoking a feeling of astonishment and unease at the same time. And some people often remark them as weird. So perhaps solutions generated from AI need to be viewed from a different angle, just like the random generators such as Randu of the old school IBM exposed its limitations when viewing its hyperplanes and uncovering that the model is more predictable than first thought. But what if the AI could be guided or assisted and thus becoming another neuron in the collective, like another team member? This brings us to the question that Hans Moravec named the brain prosthesis experiment, where Moravec proposed a complete biological neuron replacement of the brain with an electronic equivalent. Say you were to replace one by one every part of the architectural process with an AI agent. What would happen to the field, or what would happen to a small studio that yourself work in? How could this impact like the whole of the architectural field, and what the future implications of this like swapping might be, just as Moravec proposed? And you all know that he had like some great replies in this regard.
maybe then the future building will be suitable for another AI agent, not for humans. If only AI agent designed that. Well, yes, it's a complex question. Let me think about it.
Yeah, of course. It's like a question.
Generally, I think
I would be like a sub-question,
Wait.
question of identity. You know, if you were to replace like a lot of the parts involved in architecture making, will it still be equivalent to people making it, or is there something lost, or is something gained, or is there like another perspective with which to view these?
Well, so basically the question if only AI going to design our building, is it a problem or not?
Yes.
It's a very simple way to ask the question.
Whether it's possible or not.
Yes.
I guess it can be possible. Like from my point of view, we are kind of learning creatures as well, right? We start. Well, that's also a debate whether we start as humans with a tabula rasa, like a blank page, and everything that we experience from our childhood until we get to a designer is you know, a learning process, and we get imprinted some of the information that were relevant to us. But it's also, I think, what's different between people and AI is going back to a bit of philosophy, and I would refer to Sartre, who was explaining that the the place where you grew up in, it defines your craving, what you're looking for. So for example, if you are a child growing up in a big building on the 6th floor and you always have the overview of the city, you will be kind of looking towards homes which refer to this or which are similar. So you want to get into a similar environment. Whereas if you were growing up in a house with a terrace and a garden, then you will kind of seek this environment later on. And I feel that as architects, it somehow defines us as well. So how we spend our childhood is defining the way we likely design buildings ourselves. But this is the kind of way when you can nurture your, you know, your partner who you're working for, and kind of design something that is nice in your own way, but it's going to be comfortable for a human which is different from you. Whereas in AI, I feel that the different information provided is kind of having the same relevance, let's say. So AI is mixing the information it has with the kind of the same measure or the same importance. So there is not this emotional part of it, let's say. Of course, you can define it, but you have to be very, very precise and give a lot of information about you to reach to this point. So I would say it's possible that you can use AI agents to design, but you will need to have a designer who will tell the agent what to do exactly. And that is my point of view. But this is going to be more of a, probably more of a communication thing, which we will have to learn a lot about, how to communicate with someone who knows everything from the past, but you have to pick the right and important information very clearly and properly, and how to use your more emotional and more intuitive way of thinking to guide this very vast amount of information. But I will pass it on. Sorry, I was explaining for long.
Yes, I agree. In my point of view, we should really see this as just a new tool, which is frightening because you can say emotions to it and it will understand. But I think if the society or we will be familiar with this new type of AI tools, we can just simply move on, and it won't replace all of the work, but yes, just hopefully make them easier. And yes, it's because it knows everything. It's difficult to determine exactly the task what we would like to perform, and maybe this is this new type of career, the prompt engineer career will be something like this, because
sure.
yes, it's easy to use ChatGPT, but probably, or not just ChatGPT, any other stable diffusion or similar software, but it's really hard to master, I think. So we will have, I hope, some knowledge how to use them later when we have way more experience. So yeah, that's all. It's from our perspective, it's just a tool.
I think one more thing came to mind is that the sense is what we have, and this is from another architect, Ioannis Palashma, who is also like a philosopher in architecture, and he is explaining in The Eyes of the Skin, in his book, that we tend to think in images when we are thinking of architecture or spaces, but the space is a really like many D experience, right? You can touch the surfaces, you can feel the smell of them, you can feel the warmth, and this is something that's lacking in AI yet. And I think this is also something that you have to understand and manipulate very clearly if you're a designer. And I think this is going to be a very long process until you can get to this point of manipulating spaces in a way that you think also about surfaces, about the atmosphere, and many other stuff. So, in my belief, AI is going to be a much more like visualizing tool and communication tool rather than becoming a very replacement of a design process in this depth.
Any more questions? So just one more question, which is going to be a follow-up to this question, and it's going to be short. I know that you've been exploring a lot with different options, and you're also very involved in making the AI prompt tools. I'm just wondering if you ever got a solution to a problem which was really surprising to you. Did it ever, I would say, in a way, blew your mind or made you think about something? If I were to express this in another way, I would say, was it ever unpredictable or really like groundbreaking on any case that you studied?
Let me think about it. Do you have?
I think we participated once in an exhibition for architecture in Hungary, and there we used the Visual AI tool for creating images. And I think that was like, it's mostly the image creation where you can get surprising stuff. Like, there are guys who are using fruits to create some skyscrapers, like from segments of the fruit, and it's a very new way of approaching this whole matter of designing. So I think it was when the process was becoming very playful, then we got some ideas which were like, oh, we never thought of that, but it's actually quite cool. Yeah, that's for me.
Well, for me, it's way more technical. When I was just programming some simple vectors and points, and I remember I had to figure out somehow some rotation calculation, which is like sinus and cosinus, sinus, cosinus, and I mean, it's not difficult, but you have to spend, I don't know, 10 minutes and draw the triangles and figure out how does it work. And I was really just simply put into ChatGPT, and it gave me back the script, and it was working. And yes, I was not sure how this works. I mean, also it's true, if I spent 50 minutes to understand the code, probably I would understand, but it was faster and surprising how it works. But I have to mention later, this part was not crashed, but there was problem there, because I don't know, after 180 degrees, some way it didn't work. So yeah, it was was okay and it was working. It's surprising, but obviously if you have a code and you don't understand some part of it, it will crash at some point.
Thank you. Yeah, it sounds like a typical gimbal log problem with the Euler rotation matrices. I would just like to invite you for like a closing comments on the interview and what you're looking forward to in the AI debate.
What am I looking for?
Ask ChatGPT.
Yes, I will ask ChatGPT what am I looking for. I don't know.
I think this aspect that you brought in with like the like the similarity with the brain and kind of the connection of replacing humans. I think this is something that's fascinating and also scary as well. Yeah, for sure. But what I'm looking for is to see how people will understand and how these aspects of other professionals using AI will going to change my approach. And I think from my side, I'm kind of seeking a more relaxing point of view in this whole matter, because yes, generally we are saying AI is not going to replace us, but we kind of don't know the end game, right? So it's a big question, and I think what now I'm looking for is a nice feeling about AI.
Yes, for me, maybe this, what I mentioned already, this prompt engineering career is, I mean, I don't want to change, but I'm really interested how it will look, and maybe how new careers and new jobs will appear because of AI, and maybe it's also interesting, but less happy what job will disappear. But these things, I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it, but I think it will be really interesting.